Darth Sion, otherwise known as the Lord of Pain, was a Dark Lord of the Sith during the Old Republic era. A Sith so powerful he was able to achieve what Palpatine had always craved. He was able to cheat death. Like many other Sith at this time, Sion struck down almost as many fellow Sith as he did Jedi, this being a time before Darth Banes' rule of two, and a time where the Sith Empire was rife with infighting and civil war. This video will explain the life of this Sith Lord, as well as the insane dark side power which prevented him from dying. Darth Sion was born around 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin and the destruction of the first Death Star. A victim of pain from a young age, possibly due to injury or deformity, Sion became filled with hatred and vengeance, making him the ideal recruit for the Sith. During the Great Sith Wars, Sion served in Exar Kun's Sith Empire as a Sith marauder. It was during this time that Sion discovered his unnatural ability to fight death. Seeking death and an end to his pain, Sion would go on many daring missions. However, after being struck down by a Jedi, Darth Sion found that he could cheat death by focusing in on his pain, allowing him to hold his broken body together. While it did grant him near immortality, this ability would come at a cost. Darth Sion had to be in constant pain and forever focusing on it to prevent his body from falling apart. However, his hatred for the Jedi and lust for power meant that Sion believed that the excruciating agony he constantly endured was a small price to pay for immortality. When Exar Kun's Sith Empire was defeated and crumbled, Sion survived. Exar Kun's allies, the Mandalorians, would renew their conquests against the Republic, starting the Mandalorian Wars. Throughout the Mandalorian Wars, Sion and the remaining Sith bided their time. However, after the defeat of Mandalore the Ultimate and his Neo-Crusader Mandalorian army at the hands of Revan, a new Sith Order would rise once again. Led by the newly corrupted Darth Revan and Darth Malak, and with the might of the Starforge behind them, this empire sought the elimination of both the Republic and the Jedi. Seeing this as the rebirth of the Sith Empire, Sion enlisted as a Sith Lord for their empire. To Sion's horror, this new Sith Empire would soon be destroyed from the inside. He watched in disgust as Darth Revan was redeemed by the Jedi Order and killed his former apprentice, Malak. The Sith lost not just their leaders, but also the ancient Rakatan superweapon known as the Starforge, a space station which drew upon the dark side of the Force to create an army of droids, starfighters, and weaponry. As the Sith Empire descended into chaos and civil war, Sion vowed to use his power to unite the Sith, using his hatred of the Jedi. Soon after, Darth Revan's former master, Kreia, now taking the name Darth Traya, approached the Sith Lord. Hell-bent on finding what she called wounds in the Force, she took both Darth Nihilus, the Lord of Hunger, and Darth Sion, the Lord of Pain, as her apprentices. She then trained them on Malachor V, honing their skills in the dark side to almost unmatched levels of power. However, as is the nature of the Sith, Sion and Nihilus desired ever more power. After Sion had savagely beaten Traya, Darth Nihilus stripped her of the Force, casting her out from the Sith Order. It was during this time that Darth Sion and Nihilus would reach the zenith of their power, and would actively hunt down the Jedi, nearly driving them to extinction. Sion trained an army of Sith assassins to help hunt down many Jedi, while Nihilus used his powers to annihilate whole planets. Sion would be struck down several times, but his unnatural abilities would allow him to return time after time. So many Jedi were killed during this purge that the Order publicly disbanded. However, among the survivors, a Jedi Master named Atris would attempt to bring Sion and Nihilus to justice and restore the Jedi Order. She planned on using a young Jedi who had been exiled from the Order years earlier after she went to fight in the Mandalorian Wars with Revan. Atris made sure that the Sith knew her whereabouts to draw them out from hiding. This unsuspecting former Jedi was named Demetra Surik, otherwise known as the Jedi Exile. Thinking that Surik was indeed the last Jedi, Sion came after her. While Surik travelled to the Republic, Darth Traya, now using her light side alias, Kreia, would attempt to rescue the Jedi Exile using Revan's former ship, the Ebon Hawk. Not allowing Kreia to take his prize kill, Sion fired upon her ship. Kreia sent out a distress signal and the ship carrying Surik soon came to the rescue. Sion was no fool and would take advantage of the naive Republic crew members. Sion ordered his forces to play dead. He knew that the Republic vessel would bring them on board, right where he wanted to be. After seeing Sion's decaying body and assuming he was dead, the crew took him on board, placing him within the medical bay. As Sion lay there waiting, his Sith assassins moved through the ship, killing the crew members one by one. Sion burst from the Kolto tank he had been placed in, with him and his assassins killing all security and crew on board, demanding that Surik be brought to him. Fortunately for the Jedi exile, Kreia was able to get to her first, and evacuated her from the ship before Sion could get to her. Following them to the mining world of Perigus II, Sion and his Sith assassins attempted to hunt them down. In an act of desperation, Kreia would confront her former apprentice with a sword. Sion mocked his former master for abandoning the dark side. As she was no longer force sensitive, it was not long until Sion had cut off her hand. However, yet again, the Jedi exile and Kreia would escape the Sith Lord. The pair then ignited the explosive asteroids that orbited the mining world, destroying Sion's stolen Republic cruiser. Using his hate and anger, he survived the explosion, pledging himself to a life of revenge against Kreia. Obsessed with the annihilation of Kreia and all that she held dear, Darth Sion would get his opportunity for revenge when Surik entered the Sith homeworld of Korriban in a search for a captured Jedi. As Sion confronted Surik in the ancient Sith Academy, he would warn her that one day Kreia would betray her. After being struck down time and time again by the Jedi Knight, Darth Sion would relent, finally letting her go. It was after this that Darth Sion would experience an emotion he had never felt before, the opposite of pain, the opposite of hate. Darth Sion began to believe that the Jedi exile was beautiful, fearing that he had fallen in love with her. This emotion was something he could not tolerate, and so he drove these emotions deep down within his dark soul, focusing all his hatred upon Surik. Encountering Kreia on Malachor 5 once again, Kreia would inform him of the death of Darth Nihilus, her return to the dark side, as well as the restoration of her force powers. As Sion had predicted, Kreia, now Darth Traya, had betrayed Surik. Sion would attempt to strike Traya down, but the renewed Dark Lady of the Sith would again bend him to her will. Kreia revealed that Sion and Nihilus' betrayal of her had simply been a test to prove their loyalty to the dark side, a test they had passed. This led Sion to believe that he was her greatest student, more powerful and engulfed in the dark side than either Darth Revan or Darth Nihilus, pledging himself once again to Darth Traya. Not long after, Surik confronted Sion. He believed that by defeating her, he would show that he was the greatest of all of Traya's apprentices. A final battle would commence, with Surik striking him down, time after time, with Sion using his dark side abilities to regain his strength and keep his body together. After his fourth defeat, Surik would warn Sion that Traya would never truly accept him. Traya despised the Force, seeing it as an entity that had removed free will from the galaxy, seeking his total annihilation. She saw those who were dependent upon it for their power as addicts, no better than death stick users. Realizing that Surik was right, he accepted that Kreia would never truly accept him as his apprentice. After all, he was only alive because of the dark side. Sion finally saw the error of his ways. His life of pain and anger was ultimately not one of purpose or power, it was one of weakness and dependence on the Force, a simple pawn for the dark side. Sion gazed upon the only woman he had ever found beautiful, warning her of Kreia's treacherous nature and telling Surik that she was her greatest weakness. Finally finding peace, Sion would allow himself to die, finally becoming one with the Force.